The Democrats, of course, are very upset about this. The same Democrats who are very happy with Teddy Kennedy, a man who left a woman to drown under a freaking bridge, right? They were happy when he got the Medal of Freedom from Barack Obama. They were very, very upset that Rush Limbaugh should get the Medal of Freedom. Now, Rush should presumably leave a woman to die. Maybe that would get them the Medal of Freedom in the Democratic lexicon. It's pretty amazing. But in any case, he was given the Medal of Freedom last night, and it was a pretty great moment.
Rush, in recognition of all that you have done for our nation, the millions of people a day that you speak to and that you inspire, and all of the incredible work that you have done for charity, I am proud to announce tonight that you will be receiving our country's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I will now ask the First Lady of the United States to present you with the honor, please.
It's a pretty fantastic moment. Rush, obviously, he was having trouble hearing, which is pretty obvious. In echoey rooms, he's had ear problems. He has cochlear implants. He's had that for years. Obviously emotional and in tears as he should be. I mean, it's
Rush and Catherine.
The fact that the media have been what they are is the reason why Rush Limbaugh was important to the country and is important to the country and will continue to be important to the country. He's had an impact on generations. So that was a wonderful, wonderful moment. And good for the President of the United States for paying tribute to an iconic conservative who has shaped so many minds and hearts over the course of years. Okay, time for a quick thing that I hate. So as I say, the Democratic response to the State of the Union is over the top and insane. Like insane. Okay, it's a wildly popular State of the Union. It's best Trump. It is the best Trump has been. If he could keep this up, which I doubt because within 12 hours he'll be tweeting something dumb. But if he could keep this up, he would win. He'd wallop the Democrats. If this were full-time Trump as opposed to very part-time Trump, the Democrats would be in a lot more serious trouble even than they are. Well, the Democrats were very upset. Members of the media were super upset about all of this. Jonathan Alter from Newsweek, he compared President Trump's State of the Union to Nazi propagandist Joseph Goebbels. Okay, just a quick point. Joseph Goebbels was like a Nazi, and he was propagandizing on behalf of the genocide of Jews. You might want to stay away from the Goebbels comparisons when you're talking about the President of the United States giving what was, by all accounts, a fairly measured and generally well-precedented State of the Union address. Even if you don't believe that he was spitting out the facts the way Huffington Post wanted him to spit out the facts, even if you believe that he was quote-unquote lying the way that Democrats keep claiming, that's something that presidents do during the State of the Union all the time, and it's a political speech, of course. To compare it to Joseph Goebbels is patently insane, but this is what the media have done. Trump has driven them out of their gourds. The gourd has a hole in it, and their brains are falling out. Like they're crazy. They've lost it. Here's Jonathan Alter losing it.
He is a master marketer, and he understands, as Mark Twain said, that a lie gets halfway around the world before the truth can get its boots on. Yeah. And it's one thing to lie in tweets, and people are absorbing them at different times and go through the news cycle. It can be, but when you're doing it repeatedly in real time, and part of it is Goebbels, the big lie.
The big lie. Really? It's Goebbels, the big lie? Seriously? Come on, gang. Come on. And then I did love Rashida Tlaib's reaction. So she walked out of the State of the Union. Why did she walk out of the State of the Union? She walked out because the president mentioned Brett Kavanaugh, which was you can't mention Brett Kavanaugh, according to Rashida Tlaib. Now, you should have mentioned Hamas. That would have pleased her more, because Rashida Tlaib likes Hamas more than she likes Brett Kavanaugh, which says something about the Democratic Party. Here she was with Rachel Maddow, tut-tutting the State of the Union.
You were among the several Democratic lawmakers who actually walked out of the president's speech before it was done tonight. Tell me about that decision and what was the tipping point for you?
Well, I think, even the mention of Brett Kavanaugh for me is a trigger. Just as a woman in America, the fact that he, rightfully was accused and having an incredibly strong woman come before the public and the world and tell her story of sexual assault by this person that was appointed to the Supreme Court is just alone that I couldn't stand still and not do anything about it.
It was utterly spontaneous, guys. She hadn't planned anything. Like, honestly, I never thought I would say this. I long for the decorum of AOC. Seriously, like, at least AOC did what she should do. She said, listen, I'm not going to show up. And I'm going to go home. I'm going to cook something in the Instant Pot, mix a few drinks, and do some Instagramming. Like, at least that's respectful enough to the process of saying, listen, I know that I'm not going to like what I hear, but I'm not going to stage this walkout and do this very childish thing where I go there and rip things up and play on my phone while the whole thing's going on. I'm just not going to be there. Props to AOC. Seriously, like, that's an actual quasi-mature thing to do. It's still not like perfectly mature, but it's quasi-mature. I'll tell you what's not mature is playing on your phone while you're yucking it up with Ilhan Omar and then you leave because Brett Kavanaugh was mentioned. And go to hell. Seriously, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous. But you know what? When they show them, when they show you who they are, believe them, right? They're fond of quoting the Maya Angelou quote. All right, when Rashida Tlaib shows you who she is, believe her. Okay, so this is who the Democrats are. They're immature. And if their case is that they are the adults in the room, they did not prove it last night where they looked incredibly childish and Trump looked very, very presidential. Now, again, can Trump stay there? Well, let's see. What time is it? Like, probably not. And when I say probably, I mean no, because the president was then on Twitter immediately after the speech just retweeting all of these anti-Nancy Pelosi memes. Just let it sit, Mr. President. Like, seriously, just let it sit. But what did last night prove? It proved that if anything, even if you say that Trump's going to go back to being Trump, which he will, even if you say that, what you really saw last night is that the Democrats are not a difference in kind. They are just socialists who are also children. So if their rip on Trump is that he's a thin-skinned orange man bad child, you didn't prove that you guys were anything but thin-skinned and childish and ridiculous last night when you walk out of speeches early before we pay tribute to members of the military, tear up speeches, refuse to use the traditional honorifics, play with your phone during the State of the Union address. You made yourself look like asses. And you know what? Good. Because the American people should see that the choice in 2020, there is no quote unquote dignified candidate on the ballot. You're just going to have a choice between socialists who are undignified and somebody who's not a socialist and who kind of likes America, who is not supremely dignified. Thank you for tuning in to the Daily Wire, one of the fastest growing conservative media outlets in the country. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of our content.